mentioned the Chris Paul James Harden pairing as something that you thought was going to be successful. Any other successes recently with predictions where maybe public opinion was one way and you felt the other way?
Many. The first one I started was, well, for example, last year when Dame Lillard got traded to the Bucks, right? Dame Lillard's a star, and everyone's saying, "Hey, this is a great fit," and so forth. But the first tweet I posted about that, like, "Hey, this is not a good fit because you're throwing a water energy from Dame Lillard into a team full of fire energies. It's going to throw that team off, in particular, by a lot. And the reason why, because Dame Lillard's such a huge influence. He's a star player. It's not like he's going to be playing the limited minutes off the bench or anything like that. He's going to go in there and he's going to get his minutes and he's going to take over a lot of the impact of the team dynamics, right? So I saw that as like, wow, that's a big hit for Milwaukee. And not only that, they hired Adrian Griffin, who is also a Cancer. The coach that had that before that was Coach Bud, being a Leo, and Leo is compatible to Giannis, right? So as soon as they got Griffin, I saw it right away. I was like, I don't know. I mean, you have your star player. We just won a championship a couple of seasons ago. Now you have a head coach that conflicts his personality type, and then you have your A1 or AB player. One B player and Dame Lillard coming in. I don't know. So that's kind of where that sort of fell apart. But then as of late, the Vikings were one. I I
Okay.
looked at the key pieces of from their head coach, offensive coordinator, their quarterback, their wide receiver core, all compatible. They were dominant from Geminis to Aquaries, and look where they're at now. I mean, they're like, I believe, what, 13-3 or something. I can't remember, but they're like
Yeah,
up
right
there.
there.
They're up there.
Yeah.
And that was one that many didn't expect because who was their starting quarterback? Sam Darnold, right? But before the season even started, I saw it more in the synergy side because if you pick out the key pieces of a team, especially in football, mainly for offense, because on defense it's a little bit harder, but I set it up more like a baseline. So the standard deviation is a little bit more narrow, right? So you just try to pick out these little advantages of what you can get for team dynamics to have an advantage, right? And that was one of them. Was, okay, if the offensive coach has a good synergy with the head coach and have a good synergy with the quarterback, I can just picture them being in a room and game planning and being able to let out whatever ideas or pain points or anything freely, and they can absorb it very well, where they can say, okay, you're thinking this, okay, I have a backup plan for that, instead of disagreeing or anything that kind of conflicts with their energy. It's a little bit more easier to translate a game plan into the field, and that's pretty much what happened. Not only that, Sam Darnold and Jefferson are elite. Their
Yeah.
synergy is Gemini to Gemini is, as good as it gets, on top of that with their head coach and so forth. So that was another one. But Memphis Grizzlies, another one. Their whole roster seems like they're all compatible. The Knicks is another one when Towns um, got
I did I
traded.
did see that. You were very happy about the Towns move
Yeah.
to
When
New
I
York.
saw when I saw that one, I was like, wow, Towns is, to be honest, I felt like, man, New York has been doing a lot of trades that fits their roster. I remember I posted a tweet maybe 2023, and I pinpointed exactly which players that didn't fit their team in synergy, right? And they're no longer there. I mean, to me, I was like, wow, that's interesting because Randall's no longer there. Barrett's no longer there. DiVincenzo, out of all, is no longer there either. And they started adding pieces that actually fit Jalen Brunson's energy, and Coach Tibbs' energy. So,
Yeah. Let's talk about DiVincenzo because he was a big piece for them, and he was one of the Villanova group, and people talked about being upset that he got traded. So what was it about him that made him conflict maybe or not fit with Jalen Brunson and the rest of the team?
well, when they won the championship, I mean, if you go back and look at that Villanova championship team, yes, he was part of that group, but he was sort of like the outlier energy, right? Because Brunson,
Hmm.
Virgo, Bridges, Virgo, who else am I missing? Hart is a
Yeah, Josh
Pisces,
Hart. Yeah.
and they're all compatible amongst themselves. But the fourth one, being DiVincenzo, being an Aquarius, was sort of like that outlier energy. And this doesn't necessarily mean that they won't get along. It's just that their energies don't speak the same language. That's all it is. And sometimes that could cause like a misunderstanding. Whereas when energies do connect, they understand each other much easier. It's much easier to translate whatever their thoughts and ideas are, or even feelings, much easier than an energy that doesn't read you or absorb whatever you have to say very well. So he was the outlier, and I thought that was interesting that they did trade him because he was one of the energies that pinpoint. Okay, if the Knicks want to go somewhere, they have to make these type of moves in my mind, right? To
Hmm.
kind of break out of that mediocre phase, because I've always felt New York has been that mediocre team that they can't really be that elite, right? But then, look where they're at now. I mean, yeah, they lost the last couple games, but they won 23, 24 games already this season, so.
Yeah, that's incredible. I would not have predicted that for sure. I thought, maybe a basketball fit, Towns and all that. I mean, again, you were very happy about the move, so I was like, okay, maybe there's more to it than the basketball side. But I definitely included Vincenzo in that group with the Villanova. I didn't think of him as an outlier. Uh,